And we're watching some storms out there in parts of the viewing area. We'll give you a radar tour coming up in just a few minutes. Stick around for that.
Plus, a scare in the skies. A gaping hole in the side of a private plane in Virginia, just where the pilot landed safely. Details about that mid-air door dilemma. And deportation error. A Maryland man ordered to return to the U.S. after mistakenly sent to a prison in El Salvador. The White House now fighting his return. The new battle in the courts. And we're finding you savings. Got some advice to keep your credit score healthy as millions of people feel burdened by student loan debt. We're stretching your dollar.
You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Good Saturday evening. Thank you for joining us for DC News Now at 9 o'clock. I'm Ben Dennis. We begin tonight in Northern Virginia, a miraculous landing in Loudoun County. New photos from Virginia State Police show a small plane after safely landing not long after the cockpit door flew off mid-flight. This happened in the Round Hill area. Police say 63-year-old pilot Daniel O'Brien escaped the two-person plane without any injuries. This happened at the Leesburg Airport around 9 this morning. Meantime, authorities are still trying to find that missing door. It's maroon and white. If you happen to spot it, you're asked not to touch it. Call police. They will likely need to investigate how it flew off. We're told federal aviation officials have been contacted. All right, tossing it over to meteorologist Scott Sumner, always here with some good advice of how that weather is going to impact your lives. And to say weather aware, what are we looking at right now?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm a little concerned, but we'll see if something comes of it. You see this wording here, TVS. This is a tornado vortex signature. That means there could be, within this cluster of heavy rain, wind that could be rotating within that. This is moving to the east-northeast at 33 miles an hour. It should be impacting Poolesville here coming up at 9:21. Now, I've looked at this in different ways, and yes, there was a little bit of shear in there, but I'm not seeing the very, very typical looking signature that you would see with a tornado. But again, this could be a fast moving spin up type thing, so we'll keep an eye on that closely. These out here are not so much as what I just talked about. They are mainly heavier rain bands as they cells actually as they move off towards the north. This is the most active area here as we widen out the view, and we'll be able to show you that these showers and storms with our future radar will continue in the next 2 hours to move up into Pennsylvania. Stick around. I'll have more details about a radar tour and what to expect for tomorrow coming up.
High fives all around. Hockey fans, all abuzz last night as Alex Ovechkin tied Wayne Gretzky's all-time scoring record for regular season games. Happened just last night, 894 in all. Caps fans will have to wait at least one more night to possibly see more history made. OV looks to become the NHL's all-time goal scorer tomorrow afternoon against the New York Islanders. DC News Now's Dave Laval joins us from Union Station as fans are continuing to make some final decisions to see history in person, this time possibly in New York. Dave, what are fans telling you?
Well, at this point, what fans say is they're making the trip because they don't want to miss a chance at potentially witnessing history. While flying is the fastest way to get to New York City, it's not the only way to get there. Take a look at this person, Christian Thomas of Alexandria. He's among those who chose to ride the rails as he and others left on Amtrak from Union Station this afternoon. Ovechkin tied the mark Friday night set in 1999 when Wayne Gretzky retired. He broke the record for goals scored 5 years earlier when Gretzky scored number 802 and passed the legendary Gordie Howe. Tomas saw Ovechkin tie the record and does not want to miss out on possibly seeing him break the record.
The goalies are so much better than they were when Gretzky played. So to have his longevity, to be able to have the team so competitive, especially this year, it's been phenomenal to even witness this. It's historic.
Sunday's game at the New York Islanders starts at 12:30 p.m. Should he fail to get number 895, Alex Ovechkin will have a chance to set the record at home Thursday night against the Carolina Hurricanes. The Caps, meanwhile, will host a watch party tomorrow afternoon starting at 12:30 at Whitlow's at the Wharf. No reservations are being taken. It's strictly first come, first serve at a potential watch party at History. We're live at Union Station in Northwest. Dave Laval, DC News Now.
All right, thanks to Dave. Be sure to keep up to speed with all updates of the Great 8 Chase. Check out our website, dcnewsnow.com. Be sure to tune back at 10 o'clock on DCW 50 to hear the latest and see more reaction from fans. Thanks, Dave. All right, new tonight. 20 people were evaluated because of strong chlorine smell at a hotel. This happened at Holiday Inn in Laurel Place, Maryland. 3 adults, 1 child were sent to the hospital for non-life-threatening injuries, being evaluated. The building was evacuated too, and officials ruled the smell of cleaning supplies to be the cause of the sickness. Also happening tonight, the fight to bring a Maryland man home continues after the White House mistakenly deported him. Just yesterday, a federal judge ordered Kilmar Abrego Garcia home by Monday night. But the White House says that judge has no authority over El Salvador, where Garcia is imprisoned.
I miss you so much.
An impassioned plea from the wife of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, suing to have her husband back on U.S. soil.
I'm doing the best to fight for you and our children.
Her calls potentially answered after her 29-year-old husband was sent to a high-security El Salvadoran prison last month, along with 200 other men. A judge ordering he come back to the U.S. Applause scattered outside the courthouse after the decision. Homeland Security officials continue to claim Garcia is an MS-13 gang member. His lawyers say no way. The Trump administration later admitted they should not have deported him, calling it a, quote, administrative error. And despite a 2019 ruling that shielded him from deportation to El Salvador, where he faced likely persecution by local gangs.
In fact, I think it's fair to say that they've spent no effort whatsoever in making it right.
Despite the judge's ruling, the government filed an appeal. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt telling me, quote, we suggest the judge contact President Bukele because we are unaware of the judge having jurisdiction or authority over the country of El Salvador. Garcia's attorney responding in part, quote, they're not taking this seriously. And even though Garcia was mistakenly deported, the federal government contends the Maryland judge has no authority to order him back to the States. Garcia's attorney has until tomorrow to respond to the government's claims after they appealed. Garcia was originally ordered back to the U.S. no later than Monday night. Some breaking details tonight. D.C. firefighters battling in a fire on a 10th floor of an apartment building. This broke out this afternoon around 4:45 on P Street near Fort McNair. This is in Southwest. Those flames shot out of the window on the 10th floor, the top floor. Cause remains under investigation. Of course, stick with us on air and online as that story develops. All right, time is 9:08. D.C. police say that a man is facing DUI and reckless driving charges tonight. This all follows a crash that sent 7 people to the hospital along the busy U Street corridor last night Northwest. Officers say 31-year-old Eric Lyons of D.C. was behind the wheel. He stayed on the scene. Police say he was headed east on U Street when he drove onto the sidewalk near 11th. He hit a pedestrian, a utility pole, and a metal trash can. That trash can then hit other people on the sidewalk. Good news, police say everybody is expected to be okay. In consumer news, Wall Street is seeing its worst crisis in nearly 5 years. President Trump's tariff announcement this week sharpening recession fears and cueing a sell-off in global markets. The S&P 500 lost 6 percentage points yesterday. Meantime, the Nasdaq is now marking heavy losses. Here's a clearer look at the downturn. Everything from crude oil to big tech stocks, they've all tanked, sending retirement accounts plummeting. In fact, all but 14 of the S&P 500 companies closed trading yesterday in the red. JP Morgan heightened their forecast that a recession is likely here at home. And it also looks like China hit the brakes on negotiating a deal to sell TikTok after learning of those sweeping tariffs. The Associated Press reports the White House was nearing a deal for an American company to buy TikTok, but the parent company ended those talks. President Trump, meantime, is giving TikTok another 75-day extension to sell and avoid a ban in the U.S. And news about these tariffs. The White House is remaining optimistic. A new jobs report shows the U.S. added about 228,000 jobs in March, though that was before the tariff announcement. Meantime, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell now predicts higher inflation as a result of those tariffs. Trump now calling on the Fed to cut interest rates to boost the economy. He's now also saying big businesses will thrive amid tariffs, but those mom and pop shops here at home tell us they're worried, some even closing.
It was really a combination of the competition coming from China and the tariffs coming from our own government. We can't afford to raise our prices by 30%.
Foreign vehicles, Toyota bumper, the price is going to go up, so we have to jack our prices up a little bit just to make that balance.
Hear from more small businesses in the DMV coming up at 10 o'clock on the CW. Don't want to miss that. All right, new tonight, thousands of people gathered throughout D.C. for the Hands Off rally. That's one of many that happened across the U.S. Demonstrators say they're protesting against President Trump's administration's policies on the government's massive downsizing, plus tariffs and human rights issues.
Yeah, I think we are putting our bodies and our hearts and our spirits on the line to say no to fascism, to say no to racism, to say no to greed of billionaires.
More than 1,200 demonstrations were planned in all 50 states by more than 150 groups.
I think we're seeing the biggest single pushback to the new Donald Trump administration that we've seen yet. And the biggest demonstration I've seen since the women 8 years ago who came out 2 million strong to resist Donald Trump.
Of course, talking about the Women's March after President Trump was elected the first time. According to officials, the rallies today appeared peaceful. No immediate reports of any arrests. And happening tomorrow, be prepared for some road closures in D.C. Thousands of runners are hitting the streets for the Cherry Blossom 10-miler. This happens tomorrow morning. Those closures include Memorial Bridge and Memorial Circle by Arlington National Cemetery, Main Avenue from I-395 westbound to Independence Avenue southwest, and Theodore Roosevelt Bridge ramp to Ohio Drive northwest. We're also told those streets should reopen at noon. If you are running, maybe use the Metro to avoid any backups. Trains, though, are opening 2 hours early tomorrow, starting at 5 a.m. Still to come, jarring images, getting a look at new video showing the aftermath of severe flooding in the South. There's also a local task force headed there to help. Then an effort to curb juvenile crime. How D.C. is taking a brand new approach to try and keep kids and teens out of trouble. Live look, it's 9:13. You're watching DC News Now. Scott's coming back with that forecast, and yes, he is monitoring some showers that are sweeping through. What you need to know coming up.